You are welcome to the Wealthy Continent channel, a channel dedicated to the great people and continent of Africa. Remember, it is not the place that defines the status of the people. Rather, it is the people that defines the status of the place. As we continue our journey of financial literacy, we're going to be looking at the topic, are banks abroad your friend or enemy? Many years ago, someone was talking to me and complaining about the bank and called the bank all kinds of names and was saying that, they are cheats. He's not going to pay them. He's borrowed some money, but, look at the interest they are charging, that he's spoken to, a couple of people and they've advised him not to pay, that he should just default and stuff like that. The person was just saying everything. There was no room for me to contribute anything. There was no room for me to say anything. So I just listened and the person left after. Afterwards, I started thinking and I said to myself, there was no way the bank would have forced this person to borrow money. There was no way the bank would have said to this person, you have to take it by force at this interest. However, the person saw the agreement, the person saw the contract, the person signed and borrowed the money. Now, at this point, I will call it an ethical borrowing, a legit borrowing, because the person understood the terms and conditions before going to the bank and borrowing the money. One thing I want you to know, and one thing I want us to be clear about, is it is very easy sometimes to borrow money. When it's time to pay back, some people pay back without issues. Some people, in the bid to pay, there are issues that they didn't foresee that will happen, and they have difficulty in paying. And that's when the issue comes up. The banks are this, the banks are that. Now, in any society, after the government, one of the institutions that is powerful in that country are the banks. The banks knows that the people needs finances. They know that transaction needs to go on. So the banks are positioned to serve people when it comes to finances, financial transactions and things like that. And we have to understand that. Now, somebody might say, yes, the banks are this, the banks are that. I want you to know, based on your lifestyle, based on your financial literacy, based on how you live, your behavior, your attitude towards money, you don't have to be at the mercy of the bank if you understand what you need to do and how you need to live your life. Now, the banks are there to provide services, financial services, which is required in our society. In every society, instead of going by trade by barter, we transact with people. We carry out transaction. We deal with people. We save money. And those are the things that the banks are there for. They are there to provide services. What are the kind of services they provide? Now, you can save your money in the bank. You can save documents in the bank. You can save valuables in the bank. And people are comfortable with that. Remember, I've shared with you in time past, one of the things that the banks have done is to gain the trust of people. And when people trust you, they will hand over things to you, valuables, they will give you things, they will open up to you when there is trust. So the banking institution have that kind of trust, and people go in there to save money. Also, people go into the bank to borrow for lifestyle. People borrow to buy, new cars, they borrow for home improvement. Even some people borrow for holidays. The bank is there to say, this is our product. This is how much we're going to charge you in interest, but we're willing to lend you money, and that's what they do. Now, the bank is also there to serve people who needs assistance, maybe in setting up a business, pulling up a transaction, and they will lend to these people at a specific interest rate. The bank would also charge you fees for all the activities that is happening. The bank also invests. Now, these are some of the things the bank would do in our society. Now, people have different needs. They have different financial needs. Some people, they don't have any business borrowing money. They don't borrow money. They just save their money in the bank. And sometimes, you need to sit with the bank to understand, okay, what kind of interest are they going to pay you? One of the things I say about the bank is that the contract, the agreement, the fees, everything is decided by the bank. You have to now decide, does this product fit what I want or not? So it's a one-sided decision. Even when you want to go and borrow money, it's still one-sided. They'll tell you, this is what we have, and this is how much we are going to charge. It's one-sided. So you as an individual, you must know that it is your responsibility to check, does this fit my requirement? Do I need this? Can I pay these fees? Are this interest making sense? Now, some people understand this and some people don't. They are just at that stage of, I want the money, but they don't think. And when it backfires, they blame the bank. The banks are there to provide services, financial services. I won't call them your friend and I won't call them your enemy. And I'll tell you why. In my own view, there are 4 kinds of people that deal with the bank. And you can be in 1 or 2 or 3 or more buckets. The number 1 is there are people who work in the bank. They work inside the bank. That's where they earn their living. The second type of people there are people that work for the bank. Those are the people who borrow and they can't pay on time and it takes them a longer time. And interest rate is accumulating. The compound interest is working against them. So they make money for the bank. There are also the people who work with the bank. There are people who have a business deal. They understand, they've done their due diligence. However, they still need some financial input. So they go to the bank, present their business case, get some fund, carry out that transaction, and they pay the bank back. They make the profit. The bank makes the profit as well. The 4th set of people are people who own the bank. They understand that people need financial services. So they are part of a group of people who set up a bank. One of the reasons I would say the bank is not your friend or your enemy, I've seen people who have borrowed money to do business or to buy something, and for some reason it didn't work. Now, because the bank will always look after themselves, they are collaterals. So once there's a default or they can't make payment, the bank goes after those things and the bank will ensure that they are protected to get their own money back. So I won't call them your friend and I won't call them your enemy. They are there to provide services. Now, whether you require those services or not is up to you. If you go into a shop, there are different products, there are different brands. They are not going to force you to pick anything. You are going to decide which one is beneficial for you, which one you need, and which one you don't need. And that's the way you need to see the bank. The banks are there to serve you, and they're there to be useful in our society. So the banks are not your enemy. The banks are not your friend. The banks are service providers. If you have been getting value from our video, we'd like you to consider subscribing to our channel, clicking on that like button and sharing with others. Remember, a candle does not lose its value by giving light to others. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.